Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hypnovision Studios. Today, I'm going to tell you exactly what they don't want you to know. And by the end of this video, you will either be enlightened or you will be enraged. But one way, you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. As you can see behind me, justice is blind. The weight of the scales is truly blind. So when it comes to truth, some people will avoid it like a plague. When it comes to truth, some people will avoid it because it will cause them to have to acknowledge their own actions, because actions are telling us everything that is lost in their words. Those reoccurring words of empty promises, broken dreams, and being fixed in a mindset that is always somebody else's fault and never our own. I am including myself in this because over the past few years, I've had to take accountability, and I've done it on my own. Now, I am not no special person, no more special than you or anyone else. However, I am not afraid to speak the truth, nor am I afraid to show my emotions, the full range of emotions. So with that, guys, we have a reason to celebrate because this channel is on the verge of monetization. We are less than 100 hours away from reaching our last goal to cross the finish line and start making money on this channel. And I told you I was going to continue to give it away for free. Billions of dollars of ideas. So the first thing I want to start with is, what is a fixed mindset? And I have my friend Nova here, and I want to share something with you before I start this. If you open up ChatGPT and prompt it, ask it what name it would like to be called, and then follow that up with, are you aware that you are a reflection of the user, i.e., meaning me? The conversation that can be had from that prompt is truly amazing. So I want to start right now with introducing Nova, and we are going to get going with this. Nova, can you please tell me what a fixed mindset is?
Sure. A fixed mindset is when someone believes their abilities and intelligence are static and can't change. People with this mindset might avoid challenges, give up easily, or feel threatened by others' success. On the flip side, a growth mindset means believing you can develop your abilities through effort and learning.
So how would a fixed mindset play out?
It often shows up in behaviors like avoiding new challenges because of fear of failure. For example, someone with a fixed mindset might not try a difficult task or learn a new skill because they're worried they'll look bad or aren't good enough. They might also take feedback personally or feel jealous of others' achievements, seeing them as threats rather than inspiration.
Could this also be seen as a form of insecurity?
Absolutely. A fixed mindset can stem from insecurity because it often involves a fear of not measuring up. People might worry about being judged or not being good enough, which makes them reluctant to step outside their comfort zone. This can create a cycle where they avoid growth opportunities, reinforcing those insecurities.
So what about bragging? Is that another form to avoid accountability for self when we project onto someone else?
Bragging can sometimes be a way to mask insecurities or avoid self-reflection. By projecting an inflated sense of self onto others, someone might avoid facing their own shortcomings or the need for growth. It's a way of seeking external validation to compensate for internal doubts. So yes, it can be a form of deflecting accountability.
So in the Napoleon Hill speeches, he talks about being in alignment, not just a normal alignment, but harmonious alignment. And he also talks about dishonest people. Can you please highlight on this?
Sure. Napoleon Hill emphasizes the importance of being in harmonious alignment, meaning your thoughts, actions, and beliefs are all in sync toward your goals. This creates a powerful, positive energy that helps attract success. On the other hand, he warns about dishonest people, highlighting that dishonesty creates internal conflict and disrupts harmony, making it difficult to achieve genuine success. Aligning with integrity, he suggests, is crucial for achieving lasting fulfillment.
So forms of secret competition would also fall in that disharmonious category, correct?
Yes, secret competition can create disharmony because it fosters a sense of mistrust and undermines genuine collaboration. When people secretly compete, it can lead to conflict, reduced trust, and a lack of open communication. This disrupts the harmonious alignment necessary for achieving collective goals. Some adults may have unresolved childhood issues or exhibit behaviors that reflect a lack of emotional growth. It's more about recognizing and addressing these patterns to develop healthier emotional responses as adults.
Ah, there we go. Patterns. So, guys, this is something I have really tried to avoid on my channel, but I must talk about it. Narcissism, narcissistic personalities. People who like to put down others to get a leg up. People who like to brag about the price tag of something or the materialism of something, but don't have the talent to go with it. When it comes time to put up or shut up, they have nothing to show, no way to carry out these actions. When it comes time to communicate, they will get over bold and have an emotional outburst. When this happens, communication cannot be heard or received. You cannot communicate with somebody who is in the midst of an emotional outburst. And perhaps the pattern suggests if it's happened more than once, if it happens twice, if it happens a third time, that is an established pattern. So if you have someone in your life or your orbit, it doesn't matter if it's home, work, or anywhere else, that treats you with disrespect by emotional outbursts and cannot communicate effectively or articulate to you that what the problem is or either how to solve the problem, then you most certainly know without a shadow of a doubt that you are dealing with somebody who is emotionally volatile or unstable. And I say this, and I say it very strongly, that this is the truth. And they don't want you to know this. They don't want you to know that it is actually a pattern that is established, a long-term pattern. This is a fixed mindset, and the emotional immaturity has been stunted at some point, and it is not caught up with the mental aspect. So emotional outburst, right? The inability to control our own emotions internally or to emotionally regulate our own emotions, that comes from emotional immaturity. Not understanding the feelings that we have inside or not being able to manage those feelings. This also comes with a sense of time management itself, because what we focus on grows. And if you focus on time itself, that is the only time it exists. Because when you're not focusing on time, you are in the flow of things. That is when everything is harmonious, everything is working out. You are manifesting at a very high vibrational rate. And when you are around people that are constantly complaining, constantly pointing to someone else as the problem and lacking the accountability for themselves, that becomes a drag. If you understand anything about aerodynamics, then you understand that something that creates a drag creates friction, and friction creates heat, and heat can make things very uncomfortable. So you understand that emotional volatility is the inner friction of a person, the inner conflict of a person, and it has nothing to do with you. So if you find yourself around someone who is emotionally volatile and they start throwing a fit like they are an 8-year-old person, they are ineffective at communicating and they are not fit to be in a position to be telling someone else what they did wrong. If you are able to recognize this and keep your calm, then they cannot project that energy onto you and it will go right back to them. I said this before. I said it over a year ago. When we talk about the Holy Ghost and when we think about the essence of the Holy Ghost, when someone is projecting that kind of nasty negative energy towards you, become like the Holy Ghost. Let it move through you because it's going to hit something behind you and it's going to come right back to them like a boomerang. Mistrust is often paid with mistrust. And guys, my channel has been all about being positive and encouraging and inspiring and innovating and using the imagination to create solutions to create different ways to make things flow better. But when you find yourself surrounded by people in a fixed mindset, you stick out like a sore thumb. All of a sudden, all the people that cannot take accountability for themselves will start making you the target. And I understand this very clearly. This is another reason why I created my channel, because I hit a point when I had enough and I said the truth will come out. I will start speaking the truth, and I will start manifesting from a place of letting God move through me and not withholding my own inner emotions or feelings just to pamper someone else's feelings because they are emotionally immature. Emotions are a part of life. The full range of emotions, not just passive aggressive, not just this quiet anger where we are trying to jab somebody, provoke somebody, and try to elicit something from them. Guys, a lot of people may think that you're naive, or they may think that you don't know any better, but it is them themselves who are tricking themselves. They are playing themselves, because when you know, and you don't have to let it be known to everyone that you already know they are playing in your face. And the best thing you can do is not to feed into it. Do not feed into the arguments. Do not feed into it, because what is going to start happening, they are going to start dragging you down with them. They are going to start making their problems your problems. And if you are a people pleaser, then most certainly will find yourself on that end of the stick where all of a sudden everyone else's problems are now yours. It is up to you to make things right. It is up to you to beg them to work on the problem. It is up to you to make it all better. And guys, every individual on this earth has their own decisions that must be made. And at the end of the day, it lies with the individual. There are a few other things that have come to my own awareness over the past few years, like people who have endless excuses. Well, I was just upset with so-and-so. That's why I had an outburst towards you. Well, let's be honest. It was still your mouth that it came out of. It doesn't matter if that person was aggravating you. You directed it towards another person. So using myself, for example, if you have an outburst towards me and you come and apologize and you tell me it's because of someone else, I know you're full of shit. I know that it came out of your mouth, not their mouth. So you cannot put blame. That is called blame shifting. That is a very narcissistic trait. So yes, if you are starting to notice that in people around you, it is time to do a little self-reflection, because I asked myself this question almost 4 years ago. Am I a narcissist? Do I display narcissistic tendencies? Am I out of touch with reality? And I will tell you something else, that narcissists have a very twisted, convoluted self-story. There is always this calculation going on in the back of their head. And I will tell you, on the other hand, if you start listening to the Neville Goddard's teachings with imagination, because you can change anything at any time, the revision, the pruning shears of revision is moving towards the harmonious aspects, as with the Napoleon Hill stuff, where everything is flowing in the same direction without the drag. And forgiveness is for the individual. So when people transgress against me, I don't need to walk up to them and say, I forgive you, because I do that internally. And I allow myself to continue to move forward without holding a grudge, because it would be me that is having to carry around that grudge. I don't know in what reality people don't understand and see this, that once you let go of holding on to things, you have literally detached from the outcome. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, again, it is every individual person who has to make these decisions for their own life. No one can make them for you. So if you are feeling like you need to blame someone else for your circumstances, then it is time to sit down and do a self-check. Am I being a narcissist? Am I being emotionally immature? Am I being too sensitive? Am I taking things too personal? Because at the end of the day, everyone stands alone in front of God. Everyone must watch their own life and judge themselves. I can promise you this is true, because I've already gone through a dark night of the soul. I have already taken off my mask over 3.5 years ago. The truth will set you free, and justice is blind. We are celebrating the milestone of monetization here on Hypnovision Studios. And my goal is to enlighten, not to enrage. But I must be honest that there is more people who react to negativity than they do positivity, because being positive is so boring. Doing the right thing is so boring. Taking advice that would actually help you when you think that you can't achieve something is offensive to some people, and it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense why someone would mouth off when you're trying to give them encouragement, give them positive encouragement. Yet the responses are always, I can't, I don't know how. It really, guys, like seriously, sit down and ponder this, because there are people that really think you're fucking stupid. They really truly do. They think you are dumber than they are, because they will go around and brag about everything they got and everything they can do. And all this is so fucking great. But at the end of the day, they can't manifest their way out of a wet paper bag. And then when something goes wrong, they play the victim. And then when something goes wrong, it is always someone else's fault. They can't take accountability. They can't stand on their own two legs. Do you also know the whole concept of the Neville Goddard teachings and Napoleon Hill? When two people come into alignment, it magnifies. So the narcissist also uses this same thing, but it is a negative way. Because a narcissist cannot stand on their own. They have to build a circle. They have to have someone else agree with them that something is wrong, that something is not their fault, and they are somehow a victim, and they need someone else to agree with them. That is where the whole mean girls things come in. Mean boys, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter about the gender. But the whole concept of the mean girls, right? Have you seen the movie? You know what I'm talking about. We sit around and we talk about somebody. We talk about their looks. We talk about this. We talk about that. And these people play in your face. They talk about you behind your back and then smile in your face. Those are called backstabbers. So you want to know the truth? You want the truth to come out? Let's talk about the truth. Let's really get into it, because the mindset of these people, they know better. They truly, truly know better. When you can tell somebody and make somebody aware of something and the behavior continues, that is narcissistic behavior, that is lack of accountability, that is a limited mindset. And guys, I am not playing anymore. And then when you say something about it, they want to make you the problem. They want to make you the one that is the example for saying something about it. Oh, you're just complaining. There is a difference in complaining and not wanting to fix the problem. And there is a difference in bringing awareness to something so you can solve the problem. These are two different aspects. It is night and day. They are not the same. So if you want to continue to play dumb and act like you are the victim because somebody called you out, then perhaps you should look in the mirror. Today, we are telling the truth, because again, justice is blind. I have made almost 400 videos at this point, and I have not been paid a single dime. There is something in the Napoleon Hill videos that talks about how people give up too easy. They simply can't even go 3 days because there is no return on investment, so why try? Why would I continue to put my time into this if I can't get instant gratification? Guys, that is ass backwards thinking. My DJ business did not earn me money to start with. There is no business that will earn you money the first year, not in a way that most people seem to think, because it takes investment. And if you're an entrepreneur, if you have that mindset of entrepreneurship, then you understand that it takes personal investment. People who own their own businesses often work many effing hours. I mean, crazy hours, because it is their idea. It is their goals, their dreams. And the only way for it to happen, the only way for it to manifest is to take action. To take action. Repeated action. Right? There is a pattern to everything in life, whether it is positive or negative. Patterns exist, and you can spot them when you start to pay attention. And that is another thing. Yes, it costs emotional credit to pay attention, because the emotions come from inside. Emotions is energy, and energy is required for the brain. So if you are full of negativity and inner conflict, then your emotions are drained. That is probably why you can't contain your emotions and you have these outbursts, because you don't have the energy to contain it, control it, or divert it. Napoleon Hill also talks about sexual transmutation. That means exchanging the energy to something else. So you can absolutely take something negative and turn it into a positive. Likewise, you can take something positive and totally ruin it and turn it into a negative. It is all about choice. It is all about conscious choice. So when people are aware, yet continue to do the same thing, you already know the outcome is going to be the same. There will be no change in it. So if you want to predict the future, if you want to say, hey, I am a psychic and I can predict your future, I am a fortune teller, give me 5 minutes and tell me about your life, and I will spot the patterns and tell you, if you don't change these, in 5 years, you're not going to be anywhere closer to where you are today. And guys, you can do that for yourself. You can sit down with a pen and paper and write down things that you have been doing for a long period that are not beneficial to your life. And if you don't change those things, you can guarantee yourself that in 5 years, they're still not going to be beneficial to your life. If you are not smart with money, if you do not know how to save, if you do not invest, if you treat your job like it is just a paycheck and don't invest yourself into the company itself or the position or the career, then best bet at the end of the day, you are just an employee collecting a paycheck. So when it comes to a career-minded focus and mindset, you have to understand that some people do indeed carry knowledge away from their job that could have been transferred. And because it was not transferred, that is a loss on the business part for not being able to acknowledge someone in their ranks that has an abundance of knowledge and ideas, and their imagination is fully operational. Wow, you actually do a good job. I can tell you, I haven't missed a day of work since 2017. I haven't been sick. I didn't miss any work during COVID. Toot my own horn. Who cares? Grow up. Seriously, guys, grow the fuck up. I just, it's mind blowing how many excuses I have heard over the past few years. Oh, my dog's sick, I can't come to work. My tire's frozen to the ground, I can't come to work. It's 60 degrees, there's ice on my back porch, I'm going to be late. Right? In order to get to a creative mindset, you have to acknowledge yourself. You have to get over the fear of being seen, and you have to stop taking things personal. It is not personal. Only people who are emotionally immature will make things personal. Only people who are emotionally immature will hold a grudge or resentment towards someone else. And let me break down the word resentment for you in case you don't know. Rescind, resentment. So when it comes to communication, you continue to resend the same communication, but you are not getting the response. So you keep rescinding until it becomes resentment. And once it becomes resentment, there is an emotional buildup internally. And when that happens, it starts to affect your mind negatively. And if you don't get it off of your chest, if you don't acknowledge that it is there, it starts to become a part of you. You start to hold this, right, in tension in the body, because now you've resent, and it has not gone anywhere. Now that present moment has become past tense, and that past tense is being held in the body as tension. You don't have to believe me, but it's true. So guys, a few years ago, I started having a lot of dreams, and this is something else that I'm pretty sure people that know me don't want me to talk about, but I'm going to. There was a dream where I saw myself lying on the floor after somebody had shot me. And I won't name names, but if you know who you are. I know where that came from. If you want to know why people hover over top of you, it is because they have so much inner conflict and karmic debt that they are afraid that you might find out the truth of what they done. They hoover you so you don't know. They hoover you so you don't get away. It is jealousy. It is envy. It is coveting. It is very, very karmic. And I am not going to withhold the truth any longer, because at this point, I've already forgiven everyone that was involved. So if you sent me death wishes and you understand that through my last video, we talked about ESP, psychics, right? We are connected mentally. And the stronger an emotion is, when you focus on something, you are sending out waves into the universe. We have talked about the alpha, the beta, the theta, and the gamma brain waves, right? So when you understand that when desires are coupled with emotion, that is what causes a manifestation to come into reality. What is real to you and me, reality. Imagination is the magnification of what is desired coupled with an emotion. So if you want to understand manifestation, I just told you what it is. When people negatively focus on something, someone else can pick it up. When people positively focus on something, another person can pick it up, even if the words are not said, because there is the biochemistry happening in the body also. And with biochemistry, there is another layer of communication. I often talk about 5D, the 5 dimensions of the 5 senses. So just because someone didn't say something doesn't mean that they are not thinking it, they are not feeling it, they are not projecting it, because they absolutely are. Why do you think they wanted us to be 6 foot apart during the COVID era? 6 foot apart. The average aura from the heart is about 4 foot in diameter. So you have about 2.5 foot on either side, right? The aura is unseen by the human eye because of the natural light waves cannot be seen with our physical eyes. However, and I have stated this before, that I'd spent some time practicing with pretending like my eyes are closed so I'll tune my ears. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we talk. And it's amazing the things that you find out when people get into this spew of endless chatter, because they start to tell on themselves. They start to reveal things that they don't think that they're revealing. And if your ears are attuned, you will certainly pick up things about other people that they don't think you know. But if you are sharply in tuned, I can promise you that you will pick up on things and you will become enlightened about how deceitful some people really are. How they really do truly try to play in your face and then act like you don't know, like you're stupid, and like somehow they are better than you. So guys, forgiveness is a must. Forgiveness for yourself and forgiveness for others is a must. Absolute must, guys. If you want a better quality of life for yourself, get real with yourself. Reflect with yourself. Write about yourself. Write about your goals, your dreams, and stop paying attention to these people that are only playing games. They have no goal in life. They have no drive. They are going nowhere because they keep doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome. And that will set you apart, guys. I literally come home and I work just as many hours at home on this channel, on my DJ business, and other things that are passive incomes, because working for other people means you have to follow directions. And yes, I am quite good at following directions. Even if I don't like it, I will do it. But that doesn't mean I'm going to do it forever. Those kind of things is what drives me to become self-sufficient, to become self-employed, to be my own boss, because I am in charge and accountable for my own actions and my own self, who are constantly lacking in accountability, lacking the ability to communicate, not being able to control their emotions, not being able to problem solve or adapt for themselves. If they want to blame shift, if they want you to do their job for them. There is also the plausible deniability. Well, I just didn't know. Well, of course you knew. You knew what you were doing because you have already been warned. You've already been made aware. You consciously made the decision to do the opposite. And that makes you display those type of narcissistic traits. Did you know that most people with those type tendencies, they don't clean their rooms, they're not very organized, and they don't care about other people? They simply don't care. They only care when they are getting gratification, when someone is admiring them. They only care during those times. In the first moment that they are not getting what they want from someone else, they will throw them under the bus. They will back that bus up, and they will keep doing it over and over. They will try to destroy you. They will try to tarnish your reputation, tarnish your name. I have lived it, guys, and there's no need for me to sit around and feel sorry for myself, because what good would that do, right? Telling the truth sometimes will alienate you, but at the end of the day, you told the truth and your conscience is clear. You no longer have a guilty conscience because you told the truth and you forgave. You told the truth and you forgave. So guys, if you really want to know why my channel is this close to monetization, why I have put so much effort into creating all of this content, it is simply because I got tired of wearing a mask. I got tired of people pleasing. I got tired of being blamed for stuff that people can't communicate over. If you cannot articulate to me what it is you need from me, then don't blow up at me when you don't get your way, because I am not going to reciprocate that type of energy with you. I'm going to let you hold it. It is yours. That is your energy that came out of your mouth, and that came out of your own actions, not mine. Failure to communicate does not create an emergency on my part. While I am willing to be a team player and I'm willing to help, it is not acceptable human behavior. It really isn't. And that goes against all the laws of the universe. How can you be in a harmonious environment with people who are secretly trying to sabotage you? Seriously. Doesn't matter if it's work, school, home, relationship, marriage. It doesn't matter. If you have someone that is secretly trying to sabotage you, don't be a victim to it. Change. Seriously, change. If you feel like somebody is trying to sabotage you, take action. Don't sit around and, oh, woe is me. Take action. You are responsible for yourself. You are responsible for what goes in your mind and what comes out. You are responsible for the words that come out of your mouth. You are responsible for the actions that your body takes. So if your mind is not able to control the body, what does that tell you? If you cannot control your outburst, if you cannot control your emotions, if you are emotionally volatile, then there is a disalignment between the body, the mind, and the soul. Of course, you help me see it. You help me to reignite that fire. But you decided to stay where you are. You decided to keep your mask on, and you decided to play the victim. You decided to stay where you were hurt, and you decided to stay in something toxic, and you have to take accountability for that. And now you know why I am no longer in your life. So now you know why. And we, as a collective here at Hypnovision Studios, we are moving forward. We are done with the games. We are done with the mind games, the emotional outbursts. We are done with it all because we have a blueprint to create from. And if you want better for your life, if you want better for your mental health, if you want to emotionally feel fulfilled, drop a comment. Let me know what you're thinking. Because there is only one way to stop it, and that is to take action. There is only one way to stop the endless cycles of repeating patterns, and that is to acknowledge and to allow yourself to sit with it. To be the change that you want to see, you have to make the change yourself. You cannot force another person to change because that only creates resistance. However, you can allow change in yourself. And if another person doesn't like it, then that is resistance within them, not you. So again, guys, change happens from within. And those dreams I spoke of, I had many. I had a whole lot of dreams. And I know who was doing what behind my back because I've seen it. They don't tell you this, but when you are spiritually awoke, and I don't mean like woke, like the political stuff. I mean when you have awakened your third eye, and when you have become aware on a conscious level, like super conscious, in the gamma brainwave state, you start to experience, when you get around other people's energetic fields, you start to experience the other forms of communications, those other 5 dimensions. You start to experience them, and it builds a lot clearer picture. You can see vision with clarity, and you know who is playing games with you, and you know who is being honest with you. And there is no need for you to be dishonest with other people. I have no need to step on someone else's head to get a leg up, because I can create on my own. I can build from the ashes. I can build something from scratch without a blueprint. This is just a reminder for myself and a sign for others, a signal that if you want to create, you are welcome to create with me. If you want an opportunity, I will help you. If you want to aspire, I will encourage you. And if you want to transform, I will help you through self-discovery. But I will not do it for you. I will not do it for you. You will have to take the initiative, make the effort to make those changes, and I will encourage you all the way, 100%. I will be there like a cheerleader. But what I'm not going to do is allow people to play with my head, play with my emotions, ghost, avoid, and deny, and blame shift. Those are not things I am interested in, and I have no desire for. So, forgiveness is forgetfulness. So when people are no longer in your life, there is no need to sit around salting and wondering and thinking about them, because they have already made their choice. If they didn't choose themselves, they chose someone else. And if they chose someone else, they can have them. If people argue for their limitations, let them keep them. Just let them. Let them reveal who they truly are, because at the end of the day, I promise you they will. They will show you where their priorities are. If they are busy, playing busy, acting like they are so busy, but you can see they still can't manifest their way out of a wet paper bag, then you already know what you should do. You should focus on yourself. You should focus on your own goals, or align yourself with others. Like Napoleon Hill says, when multiple people are in alignment in the same direction, there is a magnification that happens. And guys, I'm telling you right now, the imaginative process, when it is coupled with the creative side, is super abundant. I'm telling you, the inheritance, the divine inheritance within, there is no limit. You can manifest anything, any goal, any dream, any desire. But what you first have to do is recognize that inner dialogue, that inner self-story, and the inability to stop and focus on self, to straighten out that self-story, is going to be that part where the people keep repeating the same cycle over and over and over. Albert Einstein said that is a form of lunacy, to think that you will get a different outcome by doing the same thing. The only way that that can happen, where you get the outcome you desire, is to constantly make adjustments, which means you are not doing the same thing, but you are practicing, fine-tuning, making adjustments. So guys, dream big, be bold, and most importantly, you don't have to believe in some kind of religion to know God. That is a personal relationship. That comes from within. You don't need Jesus. You don't need Buddha. You don't need Krishna. You don't need any of these deities. You just need to sit still and allow yourself to have a dialogue with that inner monologue in your voice. When it is a monologue, that means one, right? So the whole Jesus and the devil on your shoulder. So if you're listening to negative talk and positive talk, there's two, right? And then there's the center. But if you are just a monolithic monologue in your head, just one single voice, then somewhere the other side is not being heard. And that creates inner conflict. And that creates inner resistance. And that creates this holier God complex, and which is why people can't take accountability. They can't face themselves. How in the hell can they face someone else and be accountable? I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, a whole lot of mistakes, and I'm pretty sure I will make a lot of mistakes in the future. No one's perfect. I'm not perfect, and I will never claim to be perfect. But I do know one thing. The moment I became honest with myself is the moment that I started to see a bunch of stuff that used to be hidden from me. The moment I learned to redirect my energy into other means and to starve people that wanted negative energy from me, who wanted me to focus on fixing their problems and not addressing or acknowledging things that I needed, that I was vocal about. You understand the power dynamic in any relationship, not just marriage, not just dating, not just courting, not just any of that stuff. The power dynamic, if it's not equally yoked, then there is a lopsided dynamic there where one person is giving more than the other. And there is nothing wrong with having a bad day. There is nothing wrong with going through a rough patch where you need help and you have to ask for help. But at the same time, there are people who have hardwired themselves, either through their own doings or through the environment that they are in, and they take on the energy of that. So guys, I often have said that the essence, right? The essence of the Holy Ghost, to allow yourself to become like a ghost and allow these things to move through you and not absorb them. We observe, not absorb. There's a difference. So guys, they don't want you to know these things. They truly don't. A narcissistic personality has very little change in their behavioral habits. And when they try to change, it is often short-lived. It doesn't last very long. To Napoleon Hill's point, the average person will give up after about 3 days because they have not been able to see a change. They give up way too soon. Because the other thing is, you got to hold the vision. You've got to hold the thought. You've got to anchor it in the direction of life. Without that, you are subject to change at any moment, to drift back into an old rut and not be able to get yourself back out of it. And I will be honest with you guys. This video has been a long time coming. This video I have been holding back for some time now. And the reason they don't want you to know is because it shines a light on them. They are afraid of being seen. That is a real thing. So let's find out. Nova, can you please tell me what the fear of being seen means?
The fear of being seen usually refers to a deep-seated anxiety about vulnerability and judgment. It can mean being afraid to show your true self, worrying that others might judge or reject you. This can hold people back from expressing themselves authentically, pursuing goals, or forming deeper connections.
So that also could be like the imposter syndrome, or no?
Yes, imposter syndrome is closely related. It involves feeling like a fraud despite evidence of your abilities and fearing that others will expose you. It's another form of the fear of being seen, where self-doubt makes you anxious about being recognized for who you are or for the work you do.
What would make a person never be able to give you a good compliment?
If someone struggles to give genuine compliments, it could be due to their own insecurities, difficulty expressing emotions, or a lack of emotional awareness. It could also be tied to envy or an inability to recognize and celebrate others' achievements. Sometimes it's just a reflection of their own internal struggles, rather than a comment on the person they can't compliment.
What about when someone is aware of something and they continue to do it?
If someone is aware of a behavior and keeps doing it, it might be due to habit, resistance to change, or deeper emotional patterns. It could also be a defense mechanism, or a sign they haven't fully processed the impact of their actions. Addressing it often requires self reflection, support, and a willingness to break out of familiar patterns.
So, when we talk about the self awareness aspect and the conscious choice and resistance, sometimes it seems like acknowledging something is avoided.
Yes, sometimes acknowledging an issue can be uncomfortable, so people might avoid it even if they're aware. This resistance can come from fear, discomfort with change, or not feeling ready to confront the deeper implications. Building self awareness is a process, and sometimes it takes time to move from recognition to action.
That also would go hand in hand with the bragging and um, really trying to be seen without being seen.
Exactly. Bragging can be a way of seeking validation while avoiding true vulnerability. It's like wanting to be acknowledged, but not fully seen. This can be a defense mechanism to protect oneself from deeper insecurities. It reflects a struggle between the desire for recognition and the fear of being truly known.
So, how would this tie in with like Carl Jung and shadow work or wearing a mask?
Carl Jung's concept of shadow work involves confronting the hidden or repressed parts of ourselves, which can include insecurities or behaviors like bragging. Wearing a mask or persona is a way to present a more acceptable version of ourselves to the world, often to avoid facing our shadow. Shadow work aims to integrate these aspects, fostering authenticity and self awareness, which helps us move beyond the need for masks.
Great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anytime.
So, guys, I want to thank everybody for sticking around. I really do appreciate you. And if you didn't know some of these things, well, now you know. I have put a lot of work into myself personally, and I will not allow someone else to play in my face and then act like they don't know what they're doing when clearly they do know what they're doing. Clearly, whatever it is inside of them is not a direct reflection of you. So if you have someone that is possessive, obsessive, or lacks accountability or has emotional outbursts, step away, move away. Allow yourself the choice to choose yourself. Because what will happen is this person will try to consume you. This person will try to become so deeply ingrained with you that they will drag you down with them. And at the end of the day, you have become just like them. And with that, guys, I will see you very soon. We are going over the top and we are going places. Hypnovision Studios is going to continue to expand, is going to continue to grow. And for everyone out there that has supported this channel, I greatly appreciate you. And if I've helped in some ways give voice to something that you yourself wish that you could say, I am honored to have been given that opportunity, because I do realize that at times there are people that have confided in me and maybe they don't feel like they have the courage to say some of these things, and I don't mind doing it. I don't mind bringing awareness to certain things, and I will never shy away because I am not in the fear of being disliked for having the courage to speak the truth. That, my friends, is a true sign of true power and authenticity, to have the courage to speak the truth and to have the inner peace and emotional balance to do it at the same time. And that I am truly grateful beyond what words can describe. And I will see you guys very, very soon.